morning to you. This is Michele Wright, your leader today for Figure It Out Friday, Author's Edition. And I'm so glad everyone is back today. I am an author, business coach, and executive director of a nonprofit organization in Rowlett, Texas. I believe everyone needs to start every day with an encouraging word. And I'm so excited about today. You may see this sketch I was taken from a picture. That's my dog Fabrice, and it has something to do with what we're talking about today. So bear with me. Um, Last month, we had a little bit of a figure it out Friday, and Brock and I were chatting and this, that, and the other. And I there were a number of people that wanted to write books but haven't written a book and haven't known how to start to write a book. And a friend of mine in the area is a Navy SEAL, or he was a Navy SEAL, and he's a published author. And his book that he wrote was hard-earned lessons and other bits of wisdom, wit, insight, and expertise. So it seems like we are part of a challenge these days. We have so many challenges going on. So I see Brock's here in the car, Brock dropping his son off. Hi, Jesse. We see John. Hi, Bethany. I see you. And we have Kimberly, Heather. Everybody is joining this morning. John Hart, Rosario. We're praying for you guys. We have Manuel and Stephanie and Sherry and oh gosh, so many people. And I am also trying to become more adept at, at learning these things. So bear with me this morning. And I don't know if anybody noticed in Facebook, but I also took on the challenge that we picked up yesterday is to do something live on Facebook. And let me tell you, I don't know how many takes that I took of this, and whatever's out there is kind of like, uh, I'm not real pleased with it, but it's a start, right? And that's how we start writing a book. Many years ago, there was this woman preacher that was teaching on mind, will, and emotions, which all is part of the motivational mindset, if you will, that uh, we people have. When we talk about being a Christian, there are three things that are part of our everyday life, and it's has to do with spirit, soul, and body. And we talk a little bit about everything within this, but one of the things that she said at the time is things that we want to do. It's a cinch by the inch, but hard by the yard. And I share that with you this morning because sometimes we make things too difficult. And as we're want to launch out and write a book, it's like a big elephant in front of us. Where do we start? Do we start at the tail, the trunk, the legs? The legs are huge. The torso is huge. And if we just start at a little piece, that will be what we need to do. So when I wrote my book, my first and only book thus far, it was just a collection of textbook messages that I wrote one every day over a period in a month's time, but over a period of 5 years. And before I knew it, I had a collection of things that God had given me, encouraging words to people based on the heart of God and that type of thing. So that's one way of doing it. Other people, you pick things out by journals and that type of thing. So the challenge that I gave everyone was I wanted to have 20 people in Brock's group to write a chapter about something and present that to me even if it's a chapter outline, not even a finished chapter, by the end of October. And the reason I do this, let me go back to this hard-earned lessons book and just share with you like some of the chapters. Control your brain, enjoy your life. The 5 B's for entrepreneurs. Quality over quantity. These are all things that we can do. Each one of us has a story. Frank had shared that with us. Everybody has a story. And I want to encourage each and every person that's on here today to be able to share their stories. I mean, there are 26 people on today. So there is no reason we cannot have 20 chapters, maybe even more to pick from. Uh, we might even have more than that, and we might have to prepare a second edition. But so I'm excited. Uh, but let's have a stop there. Okay, I'm telling you, you can do it. I'm telling you, it can be easy, or you can make it hard. And then I realized, oh, I challenged myself too. And I'm going like, the question Brock asked me, well, what's your next book going to be about? And I go like, well, I wanted to do something with professional women and this, that, and the other, but I really hadn't thought about it. And I've written a couple short reels and things and put in Facebook about my dog. My dog, Fabrice, he has a lot of stories and people really like him. One of my friends told me that, hey, you need to write a short story for kids. And I went, gosh, what do I know about writing a children's book? I mean, how could I possibly do that? And you just don't know until you try. So Fabrice, uh, he's a Bashan. He has to be groomed, and his groomer happens to be the daughter of a friend of mine that I played tennis with, and she is basically learning how to groom. She's not a certified groomer yet, but she is working for this company, and uh, Fabrice is one of her grooming projects, and she goes to grooming school periodically. And one Sunday, she texted me and she said, would you agree to having Fabrice be a model for me at my next grooming school? And that would be at the end of this month. And I went, oh, that's interesting. Yeah, we consider it. And she said, but you always have to watch out for those buts, don't we? She said, you're going to have to bring him in every week for shampoo and blowout. And all this is free. Do you still want to do this? And I looked at Fabrice, do you want to do this? And he said, yes. So uh, there's a lot of things in here. And I went, I think we have a story there. And you know what I did? Brock has gotten me very involved in ChatGPT. And so I I asked this question to ChatGPT. Prepare an outline for a children's book on life stories, could be for adults too, with Vashon Frise, Fabrice as the star. Also provide 3 possible book titles. Okay. So ChatGPT says, absolutely. Here's a detailed outline and up for your children's and crossover adult-friendly book featuring Fabrice, the Bashan Frise, plus 3 charming title options that could suit different tones or audiences. And so 1, Fabrice finds the way. It's a gentle, timeless fits a moral journey or faith-based undertone. One is The Adventures of Fabrice the Fabrician, classic and fun and ideal for story series. And 3, Small Dog, Big Lessons, the Fabrice Tales. So I chose the Small Dog, Big Lessons, Fabrice Tales. And from there, they gave me an outline. And it goes on and on from there. And I started experimenting with pictures, taking a picture of Fabrice and then having it put into a sketch because I don't have an illustrator, and so I thought, well, let me play with this. Maybe I can do something. So what you see, uh, let's see, is basically a sketch illustration that was taken from a picture. Is it perfect? No. Is it what I end up wanting to use? I don't know, but it's a start. And I continued on from there. Uh, and there were other questions that I asked, and it expanded it into even giving me more of a personalized kind of story with the groomer's name, and I shared it with the grooming shop that she works for. They love it. They want to promote it. They're ready for it when it comes out. We want copies, and it's exciting. It's exciting, and all it takes is one step to do it. Um, I still have to finish it out, and it won't be finished until after he finishes his journey because it's all part of a journey. So I'd like to start then today based upon the challenge that I had with you guys previously, um, is how can we go ahead and um, start our own book? And so I would like to share. This is kind of a mini mastermind, and I'm not sure that this is going to work, but I'm going to try and share my screen. Okay, so you should be able to see ChatGPT, and I wrote, give me 3 examples of a catchy title for the book. How about there are 3 catchy titles: Perspectives, Life Lessons Through 20 Voices, Threads of Wisdom, Stories That Shape Us, Lessons in Living. And then it went on to, I asked more questions. That's the thing about ChatGPT. You don't accept what it gives you. You refine your questions and just spread them out a little bit more. And then I asked it to give me subtitles and more things. Uh, but I still didn't really like what was going on, and what was really there, like a practical guide. And then we go into more business-like. I want it more business-like, and perspective, strategies, and lessons from 20 voices. Lessons in Living, a professional guide to shared experience. And then also the entrepreneurial and personal growth, which I think that there's some lessons in living, real stories, real strategies for growth. And that's what I see in each and every one of you that is on this today. Hi, Brock, welcome back. And each and every one of you has a professional story that can help somebody. And like what I had shared with you previously from this other book, they're just regular stories. And what can happen when we get this our book published, each and every one of you will be an author. And each and every one of you will be able to promote the book and say, I am a published author. you may not have written the whole book, but you have written a very important part of the book. And these are things that you can take your way. So I want to open it up. I realize that this is kind of a short thing, and we can experiment more uh, in Chat GPT if you would like. But um, does anyone have any questions or let's see, I think I see there's some chats. Oh, thank you, Amanda. Yes, we had another Bashan who was 17 when we put him down. All
Hey,
right,
Michelle.
Rosario. Yes,
How are you?
I'm doing great.
I'm on the I'm on the double screen all because I'm having a fight with my internet provider because I just learned that you have to do like credit checks when you do when you even get internet. And Rosario's working with me, and my accounts we had frozen, and for my credits for what we're doing, and so now I'm on my phone because I cannot get my internet still to work on my computer. So that's a little fun little journey I'm dealing with. But I want to say this to people because I was listening to you as I was dropping off Bryce. And I want everybody to write down this limiting belief. Limiting belief. I feel that most of us, just like yesterday, when I was going through the 30-day challenge of social media, there's a limiting belief in my head of why I want to do this or understanding the importance, maybe not importance of it, but like I just don't think anybody's going to want to look at my stuff. Why should I put this out here? Who cares what people like what people want to see and hear? And like all these negativity things come inside of my head. And when I was listening to you, I was thinking to myself, how many people on here are like, I don't really care about writing a book. I don't really want to write a book. I don't even think my life's that exciting. What the hell would I write about? I don't know what I would even do. I don't even have time for this. Do you understand what all I got going on? I'm barely just trying to get by. Like all these things come inside of our head, which is negative, which we don't feel that we are part of something that we could really contribute to. And ironically, my devotion today, Michelle, was nurturing the gift that God gave you.
Wow.
And when I heard you share this and what Frank McKinney said about we each have a story. And our first problem is we don't think we have a story. We don't think that our life is really that flamboyant, that is great. And so I want to challenge you all today that know that God has a gift inside of you. We all have it. Either somebody or a Michelle is going to pull it out of you if you choose to lean into this. This is your choice and whatever it is. I wish I knew Michelle several years ago when I thought about a book, my first book, My Mess to Success, which is still in the publishing phase because I'm still writing it because it's the journey of my life from my addiction and my problems and my financial issues and everything else. And then the new book, Turning Scripts into Conversations, I didn't think I had what Michelle is saying. I didn't have somebody in my corner saying, hey, let's do this together. Here's some ideas. Here's some thought process. Even if you don't publish it all, it's just good to get off your chest, to be honest with the uncertain things that you got in your life and your story that you have. I mean, some of the books, Michelle, I think you've read and I've read, they're not more than 50 pages.
Absolutely.
But you could say you're an author. You could say that you've done something that majority people just don't do in today's world. And it doesn't mean that the book's going to go on a freaking in the library at Barnes and Noble, but it just means you accomplish something that many people can't. And to me, that's a behavior and a discipline of overcoming something. And that in itself is a victory. So I want to ask you this question, Michelle, that maybe somebody else is thinking about right here. Because I like to push people. What is holding you back, Michelle, from not writing your next book?
And the one thing other than the one that I'm going to get published with Fabrice, is sitting down and really deciding what it is and what people want to hear. And
Michelle, let me ask you a question. Are you sitting down right now?
I am, yes.
Okay, good. We got that accomplished. So she's sitting down now. So now let's hear Michelle's other things. Okay, let's hear, because I'm going to push it out of you, Michelle, just like I would push anything out of anybody else on here. And guys, Michelle is just being vulnerable right now, and you all would be on the spotlight, just like I would be on the spotlight. So you said you would have to sit down, and then what would be your next hurdle that we need to do? Because maybe we can accomplish something for you today, and with everybody else, because everybody's got a hiccup or a hurdle that they're facing. So besides sitting down, what is the next hurdle for you that's facing for you to publish this book?
Uh, the selecting the way I would tell my story, and part of my story um in is really a story, I'll say, on feminism, but it isn't really feminism, on women in the workplace, women in the school. My story, I grew up in a town of boys. I loved to play baseball. I loved to play with dolls. I loved to compete. I always wanted to be in the winning team. I always wanted to win, so a lot of what this whole group is about is foundational to me. But then I also challenged myself, and I applied to a university that had never had women before. And I was in the first class of women at Lehigh University, a small school, private school in the Northeast.
I know
And
Levi.
yeah, 100 women and 3,300 guys. And
Do you have these ideas and these stories written down anywhere?
no,
Okay, so that's the first step right here, guys. She just told us how many stories and how many things right here. Guys, one of the things why I like ChatGPT is ChatGPT never gets tired. It will operate and function at the highest level at 12 o'clock at night, at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, at 6 o'clock in the morning. It never gets tired. And to me, I think that's one of the greatest things besides the most intelligent tool out there. Okay, it's a tool. I'm not saying that Michelle is going to take this exact book and then, I don't know, like have ChatGPT write it. But the stories have to be created from you, Michelle. So I'm going to encourage you today that you are going to take these stories and you're going to tell ChatGPT, I have several stories for you about my life and about my process and about my plan. And I would like to break these up into chapters. Am I speaking to somebody else here today who has some chapters in their life and some stories in their life that they could share? And even if you don't, I'm going to challenge you that you do. So, Michelle, you can create with all these stories that you're telling us right now. These are chapters in your life that I'm going to encourage you because when you put on this author's edition, I always challenge the leaders to lead from the front. So to me, it's like you got some chapters too, because I love Michelle. Because the greatest thing coaching Michelle all is once you tell her to do something, she turns into like a badass and she freaking gets it done and she takes it to the next level. She's like, Brock, I did this and I also did this, and this. I'm like, okay, I like that. So I'm going to challenge you, Michelle, and anybody else on here that would like to be accountability with Michelle. Maybe this is the story. Maybe this is the show you needed was to have accountability to go along the side of somebody because it's much easier. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go further, go with people. So Michelle is on here today saying she's willing to do it. And Michelle, how many stories, just give me a number, how many stories do you think you have what's inside of you that if you sat down by yourself for an hour, do you think you'd have, I mean, you just were telling us like 5 or 6 just right there in 5 minutes. Do you think you got about 15 to 20 of them?
oh, absolutely.
Okay, so
Absolutely.
she's got 15 or 20. Okay, let's put Michelle, for some accountability purposes. You have until October 31st. What is that date? I will be back, and it's a Friday, and it's Halloween. So I will be back from the Philippines. I leave tomorrow. God help me, I'm leaving tomorrow. And On the 31st, we are going to add, can I have a taker on here who can help me keep Michelle accountable? Who can keep me accountable? Somebody put me in the chat that they're willing to step outside their comfort zone. Who's willing to keep Michelle accountable? Then on October 31st,
All
Rosario.
right, Rosario.
There you go, Rosario. Shocking, shocking, Rosario.
I
So
love it.
Rosario is going to come up here, Michelle, on the 31st, and is going to do some chapters with you. Now, I know somebody on here has a couple of chapters. Somebody put a 5 in the chat. They're willing to take along this journey, whether you fail at it or not, but willing to go on the journey with Michelle between now and the 31st. I got Heather. Okay, we got Heather. We got Rosario on here. Who else is Sherry? Sherry's willing to put some chapters in her story here and share. Who else has some stories that they would like to put in here that they have? I'm looking for two more people. Somebody on here who's been thinking about it, scared to put that 5, who's never been accountable for something. I'm looking for two more people to put a 5 in the chat to be willing to go with these amazing people. May I get Michelle's contact information? You certainly can. Michelle, you put your information in there. Michelle's already got it in there. Who else? Somebody else has got, I bet Jesse's got a story. I know Amanda. Jennifer, somebody's got something on here. For those of you, there's her contact information. There we go. Jesse's on there. Jesse's now on board, Michelle. Okay. I am in too many challenges, but I'm writing slowly. Good. Amanda, congratulations. There's our two. All right. So we got Amanda, Yessie, Michelle, Sherry, Heather, and Rosario. There's your group, Michelle.
Okay.
And you all are going to work together. See, that's why I love this group. Is it's making you do something that you didn't want to do. And there's probably somebody else out here who's bitching, whining, complaining, saying that Brock, you don't understand how I don't have any time, I can't do it. I don't somebody else is thinking about it. I know on that because it always typically happens. But that's what this show is to push the needle forward, to do something you don't want to do. I did a post this morning at the gym. I always find the gym funny on Fridays because it's like everybody's ready to rock and roll Monday, but by the time you get to Friday, it's like crickets. But to me, that's when the growth happens. That's when I feel like, all right, I'm getting ahead of my competition. So you're going to be thankful for Michelle when she writes these books and she's helping alongside with you. What do you think, Michelle? What do you think as we close?
Well, I think it's incredible. We can all do a little bit more than what we think we can do. When I wrote my first book, God had said I was going to write the book, and I didn't have any time. I was head of a $1 billion proposal to present to the U.S. government, leading a team of 30 people who had never written such one, and I was getting 4 hours sleep a night. And God said, you're going to do a devotional every day. And and I laughed. I go like, I don't have any time. But God knew I could carve out 15 minutes in order to spend time with him and to write an encouraging word. It was amount, which is what it amounted to be, to someone else who needed it. And that's all we need to do.
I wrote my book at 4 o'clock in the morning. It was the only time period I could do it because I got tired of using the excuse. I wrote it back in August 2 years ago, and I wrote my book from 4 o'clock in the morning till 4:30
Hmm.
because I got tired of bitching and hearing myself say, like, you don't have enough time. You do. You just choose sleep right now over this book until somebody called me out on it and was just like, if you're going to keep telling people you're writing a book, but you're over here snoring, then stop it. Either stop telling people you're writing a book or start writing the book. And I remember hearing that over and over in my head. And so on August 1st, that's when I changed and I started to write my book. Because you all have a story home. You all have a gift. It's whether or not you want to use that gift to share with other people in some capacity, in some way. So with that being said, before I close out and let Michelle close us out here, I did day one of I did see a lot of people in the Facebook chat. A lot of people told me they want to do some Facebook lives, type in show up on the social media challenge. So you got today to do it. I'll be in there today doing my social media challenge. I go to the Philippines tomorrow. I think today's the day my nerves start, Michelle. I'm getting a little nervous going through on this journey, but I'm so excited to be with Jay, Rika, their significant others. There's over 30 of us that are getting together on Sunday. That we got a nice rooftop restaurant that we're going to where I'm meeting everybody. We're spending quality time together. We're going to be working on ourselves. And so very blessed and thankful. Which leads me into, guys, if you haven't done the donation to them for the rescue the rescuers, if you haven't done it, it's on Rika's channel. You can see her QR code. If you can also look to put it in the chat, Jay and Rika, just something for them. Guys, it's $25 for crying out loud. That goes a long way over there. These ladies show up every single day. So if you could do something for them, we would greatly appreciate it. I think we're over $300 right now. My goal is to get to 500. I really like to get to 500. So you all can help us with that. We greatly appreciate it. And I still will be here next week. I still will be here next week. It'll just be at nighttime. I'll be at 8 o'clock at night. I will be here with the ladies, live and in person. So very excited and blessed. Michele, thank you for leading today. I'm gonna let you close this out and lead us into Chad Free on Monday.
Okay, well, thank you everybody for joining me. I am excited. We have some work to do, but that's okay. We can do it. And we look forward to Mondays with Chad Free. So see ya.